Hey everyone, welcome to Step Forward. I believe that how we start our morning sets the entire rhythm for the rest of the day. If we can change our morning, we can absolutely change our entire life. In today's message, I want to share with you 5 keys to reinventing your morning. I get it. You might be thinking that mornings are just not easy. Waking up early, rushing to get ready, dealing with traffic jams or a packed schedule, it can all feel overwhelming and stressful. But I want you to know that you're not alone. We've all been there, struggling to find balance and meaning in those frantic mornings. And here's the good news. The very fact that you're listening to this shows you've already taken the first step on the path to change. You're taking control to master your morning and, by extension, your entire life. The 5 keys I'm about to share have been tested by me and many others in the real world. I can promise you that if you practice them consistently, they will create positive, noticeable changes in your daily routine. By the end of this message, you'll have the tools and understanding you need to reinvent your morning and build a solid foundation for success. So let's start this journey with our 5th key. Key number 5. Change your morning by focusing on self-care. When we talk about self-care, many people might immediately think of luxurious spa treatments or long, relaxing vacations. Of course, those experiences are great, but the true essence of self-care goes much deeper. It's about proactively taking care of ourselves, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's a conscious choice to prioritize our own needs and well-being. So why is self-care especially important in the morning? Ask yourself, how many times have you actually woken up feeling full of energy, excited, and ready to conquer the day? I bet not many people can confidently say yes. That's because most of us have forgotten ourselves in the morning rush. We jump out of bed, grab our phones, rush to get ready, and hurry out the door without ever once pausing to take a deep breath, to listen, and to care for ourselves. And it's the absence of those precious moments that makes us start our day with an energy deficit, disconnected from ourselves. But it's crucial to remember that how we start our morning sets the tone for the entire day. If we wake up feeling stressed, rushed, and chaotic, it's almost certain the rest of the day will be spent in a state of exhaustion and pressure. On the other hand, if our morning begins with self-care, we'll feel more relaxed, more focused, and ready to face any challenges that lie ahead. So, how do we actually incorporate self-care into our morning routine? It all starts the night before. A good night's sleep is the foundation for physical and mental health. Make sure you get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep and try to maintain a consistent sleep schedule every day. This will help you wake up with a full tank of energy and a clear mind. Before bed, take a few minutes to set your intentions for the next day. Write down your goals, tasks, and priorities. This way, you'll enter the morning with a clear mindset and strong motivation. When you wake up in the morning, don't immediately grab your phone or check your email. Instead, take a few deep breaths to connect with yourself. Think about the things you're grateful for in your life. Whether big or small, gratitude will nurture a positive spirit to start your day. After that, nourish your body with a healthy breakfast, drink enough water, and if possible, do a few stretches or a light workout. Physical health is the solid foundation for all success. However, self-care doesn't stop at the physical. It's also about mental and emotional care. Spend a few minutes doing things that bring you joy, like reading a page of a book, listening to a favorite song, or simply indulging in a small hobby. Those little moments will fill your soul with a natural sense of fulfillment and joy. Before you walk out the door to start your day, take a moment for some positive affirmations. Stand in front of the mirror, look yourself in the eye, and say things like, "I am capable," "I am worthy," "I am enough." These positive messages will quietly boost your confidence and keep you grounded throughout the day. Maybe you're thinking, I don't have time for all of that in the morning. But the truth is, we always make time for what we consider important. And self-care should be at the top of that list. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. We need to take care of ourselves first before we can give our best to those around us. Bringing self-care into your morning routine, as small as it may seem, will truly have a profound impact on your life. It not only helps you start the day calmly and with focus, but also nurtures your long-term health and happiness.
If you feel this video has brought you value, don't hesitate to hit like and share it with those around you. To let me know what you think, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And don't forget to subscribe to the Journey to Success channel to explore more valuable lessons on personal development with us. Thanks for watching. Key number 4. Make your morning more fulfilling by practicing gratitude. Now, that brings us to our 4th key. So why is gratitude so important? Have you ever woken up feeling stressed, anxious, or completely overwhelmed? I'm sure we've all had mornings like that. And usually, in those moments, our go-to reaction is to grab our phone, scroll through social media, and just sink deeper into a chaotic vortex of information and endless distractions. But what if I told you that by simply practicing gratitude each morning, you could completely change the flow of your entire day? Gratitude is an incredibly powerful emotion. It has the ability to transform how we see the world and recalibrate our minds toward positivity. When you start your morning by focusing on what you're thankful for, you are proactively building a positive and energized mindset to welcome the new day. So how do you practice gratitude in the morning? It's actually very simple. One effective way is to start a gratitude journal. As soon as you wake up, before you even get out of bed, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be simple things like having a warm home, a loving family, or even just the fact that you get to wake up and breathe today. When you do this, you're skillfully steering your mind in a positive direction from the very first moments of the day. Another way to practice gratitude is through meditation. Take a few minutes to sit quietly, close your eyes, and focus on the good things you have in your life. Stillness and gratitude will spread through your soul, helping you start the day with a peaceful and loving heart. Maybe you're thinking, but my mornings are too busy. I don't have time for that. My answer to you is, you can't afford not to make time for it. Just a few minutes of gratitude practice in the morning is enough to make a huge difference in how you experience your day. Let's be honest with ourselves. Who among us can't spare a few minutes instead of hitting the snooze button or wasting time mindlessly scrolling on our phones? However, practicing gratitude shouldn't stop in the morning. Make it a habit throughout your day. Whenever you can, take a beat to recognize and appreciate the good things happening around you. Whether it's a small act of kindness from a stranger or a major achievement like a promotion. By constantly reminding ourselves of the good, we are training our minds to become more positive and resilient every day. And now, I want to challenge you to take it one step further. Instead of just being grateful for what you have, focus on the people who have contributed to making it wonderful. Take a moment to express your gratitude to someone who has had a positive impact on your life. It could be a friend, a family member, a mentor, or a colleague. When you spread gratitude to others, you not only make them happier, but also invisibly deepen your most valuable relationships, creating a positive ripple effect everywhere you go. Key number 3. Reinvent your morning by proactively planning ahead. Now let's move on to the 3rd key. Planning is not just a good habit, it's an essential strategy for achieving success in any area of life. When you have a clear plan, you're no longer living randomly or reactively. You are actively directing your time and energy in a purposeful, goal-oriented way. It helps you start the day with initiative and confidence. Let's start with the first step. Set a specific goal for your morning. What do you really want to achieve as soon as you wake up? Maybe it's exercising, reading, meditating, or simply spending time with loved ones. Whatever it is, write it down and make it your top priority. When you set a clear goal, you not only give yourself a reason to wake up early, but also fuel your motivation to start the day with the clear awareness that you are living with purpose, not just existing. After you have a goal, the next step is to create a specific plan to achieve it. For example, if your goal is to exercise in the morning, you need to define exactly what time you'll wake up, what workout you'll do, and for how long. Specifying the steps like this eliminates hesitation and helps you avoid waking up without knowing what to do. The clearer your plan, the easier it is to get started and the more precious time you'll save.
The final step is to visualize your morning in advance. This is a powerful tool that helps reshape your thoughts and beliefs. Before you go to sleep, close your eyes and imagine an ideal morning. You wake up early, feeling full of energy, you do exactly what you set out to do, and you start the day with a positive mindset. When you visualize this every night, you are reprogramming your brain to prepare mentally and create motivation from your subconscious, helping you wake up the next morning with stronger determination and belief. I know some of you might be thinking, I'm not a morning person. Mornings are really hard for me. I get that, because I used to be the same way. But let me tell you this. When you start waking up early and planning ahead, you'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. You'll find you have an earlier, more confident, and more effective start to everything you do. I'm reminded of a famous quote from Benjamin Franklin. Early to bed and early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. This quote holds a deep truth. When you wake up early, you have time to take care of yourself, focus on your personal goals, and nurture important relationships. And all of that is the foundation that leads to sustainable growth in every aspect of your life. Of course, I understand that life is always unpredictable, and not every morning will go exactly as planned. There will be times you oversleep, have an emergency, or simply feel tired. The important thing is not to let one failed morning drag your entire day down. See those moments as opportunities to practice persistence and adaptability. Because success doesn't come from being perfect every day, but from the consistent effort to make small improvements. Key number 2, prioritize a good night's sleep. I understand that in today's fast-paced world, sleep is often seen as a luxury. We're constantly caught up in work, responsibilities, and endless distractions, making it harder than ever to prioritize sleep. But let me be blunt with you. Neglecting sleep is a serious mistake. It not only affects your next morning, but also disrupts your entire day and gradually erodes your overall health. So, how can we ensure we get enough sleep and, in turn, reinvent our mornings? The first step is to truly understand the importance of sleep. As I mentioned earlier, sleep isn't just a state of rest. It's a vital process where our body and mind recover and regenerate. It's during sleep that physical damage is healed, memories are consolidated, and our minds process and store the information we've taken in during the day. Without enough sleep, all our functions, from physical, intellectual to emotional, are significantly impaired, and that prevents us from reaching our full potential. The next step is to prioritize sleep as a non-negotiable part of your life. I know it can be hard to resist staying up to watch one more episode or scroll through social media before bed. But if you truly value your health and your dreams, you need to make sleep a priority. Set a bedtime just like you would schedule an important meeting or appointment. Schedule your sleep and stick to it seriously. The third step is to create an ideal sleeping environment. Your bedroom should be transformed into a true sanctuary for rest. Make sure the room is dark, quiet, and cool. Stay away from electronic devices for at least 30 minutes before bed, because the blue light emitted from phone or computer screens can disrupt your body's natural circadian rhythm. Instead, read a light book or practice simple relaxation techniques to help your mind let go of the day's stress. The fourth step is to establish a consistent bedtime routine. Just like we have a morning routine, maintaining a pre-sleep routine helps signal to your body that it's time to rest. This routine could include activities like taking a warm bath, listening to soothing music, writing in a gratitude journal, or simply sitting quietly and breathing deeply. Find what works for you and practice it consistently every night.
I understand that changing habits, especially those related to sleep, is not easy. But trust me, the benefits it brings are completely worth the effort. You'll wake up feeling refreshed and full of energy. Your mind will be sharper, your memory will improve, and your mood will be much more positive. Most importantly, you'll start the day with a positive attitude. And as we know, a positive attitude is the first and most solid foundation for turning every morning into an opportunity for success and growth.
Key number 1. Change your morning by building your own morning routine. And now for our final and most important key. I know some of you might be thinking, a morning routine? That sounds so boring and rigid. But I want to make it clear that a morning routine is not as dull as you might think. On the contrary, it is the very foundation of a successful and fulfilling life, because how you start your day shapes the rest of it. It's like laying the first brick to build a house. If that brick is out of place, the entire structure will be crooked. Similarly, if you don't start your day the right way, you'll easily fall into a state of being reactive, stressed, and directionless. So what is a morning routine? It's a series of intentional actions repeated consistently every morning designed to prepare you mentally, physically, and emotionally to step into the new day. It's not just about waking up early or drinking a cup of coffee. It's a small ritual designed specifically for you so you can proactively take charge of your day instead of letting life sweep you away. And I'm not saying you have to wake up at 4 a.m. or follow a strict, rigid schedule. A morning routine isn't about restriction, it's about choice. Choosing to do good things for yourself in a way that suits you best and maintaining it consistently. You can start with simple things, a few minutes of meditation, a short gratitude journal entry, a few stretches, a chapter of a book, or even just a quiet morning without the sound of your phone. What's important isn't what you do, but that you do it consciously, consistently, and with respect for yourself. I promise you, when you build a morning routine that works for you, it will be the best decision you ever make for your personal development journey. Part 2. The 5 reasons you fail at goal setting. Thanks for listening. Hey everyone, it's Jim here, and today I have an important message for you, a message I believe will help you turn your entire life around. Our topic today is goal setting. Now, hearing that, you might be thinking, I've heard this all before. Set goals, work hard, and success will follow. But the reality is, many of us struggle with setting and achieving our goals. We often start with a burst of enthusiasm, but after a short while, everything goes back to square one. If you've ever been in that situation, you are not alone. Millions of people are struggling with setting goals and failing to achieve what they want. But here's the good news. Through today's message, you can change that. I'm going to share with you the 5 most common reasons why you keep failing at goal setting and, more importantly, how to overcome each one. These are the principles that have helped me and thousands of others achieve success in both our personal and professional lives. So get ready to take notes because what's coming up could be the turning point on your development journey. Number 5. Unrealistic expectations. In this day and age, we are constantly surrounded by messages of overnight success and instant gratification. Social media is flooded with images of people who seem to be living perfect lives, achieving great things in a short amount of time. And it's very easy for us to fall into the trap of thinking that we too can quickly and easily achieve such massive goals. But the truth is, these unrealistic expectations are silently destroying our growth and success. Ask yourself, have you ever set a goal and quickly felt disappointed and discouraged just because you didn't achieve it as fast as you had hoped? Have you ever looked at someone else's progress and felt like you were falling behind? I've been there too. And the reason is that we've been programmed to believe that success is a straight, simple, easy path. But in reality, success is a winding journey, full of ups and downs, and it requires a lot of time, effort, and persistence. We must be willing to invest time and effort and accept that results won't come immediately. So how do we avoid falling into the trap of unrealistic expectations when setting goals?
The first thing we need to remember is that success is a process, not an event. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of consistent, tireless effort, day by day, step by step. We must be willing to invest time and effort and accept that results won't come immediately.
Next, be honest with yourself about your abilities and personal limits. Setting challenging goals is necessary, but they also need to be achievable. If a goal is too far-fetched, we'll easily get discouraged and give up. Conversely, if a goal is too easy, we won't have the motivation to reach for new heights. The key is to find a balance. Goals that are big enough to push us, but realistic enough to be within reach. Another factor in avoiding false expectations is to focus on progress rather than perfection. We are human, and making mistakes is unavoidable. But instead of blaming ourselves when we stumble, we should be grateful for even the smallest progress and see every mistake as a valuable lesson on our development journey. People often say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and that is absolutely true. Greatness takes time to form, and we need to be patient with ourselves. Furthermore, let go of the habit of comparison. Comparison is a subtle trap. We look at others' achievements and devalue our own efforts, but everyone has their own journey, their own context, their own pace. Comparison only steals our joy and self-confidence. As President Theodore Roosevelt once said, comparison is the thief of joy. Focus on your own path and cherish every step you've taken. Finally, all of this can only truly work when we maintain a positive mindset. Belief in ourselves and in the goals we pursue has a tremendous power that directly affects our actions and results. If you constantly doubt yourself, you will limit your own abilities. But if you believe and act with that belief, you will open up possibilities beyond your imagination. As Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. So choose to believe you can, because that is the first step to turning your dreams into reality. Number 4, lack of commitment. You see, commitment is the indispensable foundation of all success. Without commitment, our dreams and goals will forever remain just ideas, never becoming reality. Commitment is like the fuel that keeps us moving toward the finish line. Yet many of us struggle to maintain it. Why is that? Because commitment isn't always easy. When faced with obstacles and challenges, staying committed becomes incredibly difficult. But remember, anything worthwhile is never easy. If it were easy, everyone would have already done it. The path to success was not designed to be convenient. It was designed to test you, to push you to your limits, and to forge you into someone stronger. It's in those difficult moments that your true commitment is revealed. Anyone can stay committed when things are going smoothly, but only the truly resilient can hold on when facing adversity. So how do we overcome a lack of commitment? How do we hold on to our beliefs and goals even when faced with challenges? The first step is to have a clear vision. You must know exactly what you want to achieve. Without a specific vision, your commitment will easily waver in the face of temptations and obstacles. Once you have a vision, the next step is to set specific and achievable goals. These goals should be challenging enough to push you, but also realistic enough for you to believe you can achieve them. Write them down on paper. Make them tangible, and commit to being accountable to yourself. However, just setting goals is not enough. You need a clear action plan. How will you achieve your goals? What specific steps do you need to take? What resources do you need to mobilize? Having a plan not only helps you stay on track, but also gives you a sense of purpose and proactivity on your journey. I know some of you might be thinking, but I've done all of that and I still find it hard to stay committed. In that case, you need to change your way of thinking. Commitment is not something you have, it's something you do every day. Commitment is a conscious choice, a promise you make to yourself and to the goals you pursue. And I'll be honest with you, commitment is never easy. There will be days you don't want to work, times you want to give up, moments you doubt yourself. But it's in those moments that you must remember why you started. Ask yourself why you set these goals in the first place.
What is your ultimate vision, and what will happen if you give up? You need to understand that the pain of regret is many times greater than the pain of discipline. If you give up on your goals and dreams, you will have to carry that regret for the rest of your life. But if you persevere, if you stay committed even in the toughest times, if you keep moving forward step by step, the reward you receive will far exceed all expectations. And trust me, the feeling of victory after all that effort and persistence will be one of the most amazing feelings you will ever experience.
But there's one more important thing. Commitment is not just about achieving a goal, it's also a journey of self-development. It's the process of becoming the best version of yourself. And let me tell you something, the journey to success is just as important as the final destination. Throughout the process of pursuing your goals, you will face challenges, make mistakes, and learn invaluable lessons. Embrace all those moments because they will forge you, shaping you into the person you were meant to become. Number 3. Lack of a plan. Next, let's talk about the third reason, a lack of planning in the goal-setting process. Or more accurately, the consequences of moving forward without a clear plan. Standing here, I'm reminded of a quote by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. "A goal without a plan is just a wish." How many of us have set goals, had dreams, but have never been able to achieve them? How many have enthusiastically made resolutions at the beginning of the year only to find ourselves stuck in the same place by the end? I believe one of the biggest reasons for this is the lack of a specific plan. You see, setting goals is easy. All of us have aspirations and desires, but the biggest difference between successful people and those who fail isn't whether they have goals, but their ability to execute them. And the foundation of execution is a clear plan. Imagine you want to build a house. You have a picture of it in your mind, the number of rooms, the color, the location. But without a blueprint, without a detailed plan, where would you start? What materials would you use? How long would it take? Without a plan, you'd just be fumbling around in a daydream. That house would forever remain only in your mind. Goals are the same. Without a plan, we're just wandering around, hoping that one day luck will lead us to success. Some people might argue that planning too rigidly takes away the spontaneity and adventure in life. But I want you to understand this clearly. A plan is not a rigid mold that confines you, but a map that guides you closer to where you want to go. It's like driving with a GPS. You can always change and adjust the route as needed. A plan is not meant to limit you, but to empower you, to help you make intentional decisions and to bring you closer to your dreams. Not having a plan means letting life carry you along randomly. Having a plan means you are taking the wheel of your life and choosing the exact path you want to walk. And from that proactivity, success will gradually take shape. But what happens when we don't have a plan? When we approach our goals randomly, without a clear direction or strategy? The first consequence is that we waste time. Time is the most precious asset we have, and we can't let it slip away meaninglessly. Without a plan, we'll find ourselves going in circles, trying everything, but making no real progress. And before we know it, another year has passed, and we're no closer to our goals. The second consequence of a lack of planning is that we get easily distracted. In today's world, there are countless distractions: social media, Netflix, and a barrage of notifications from our phones. Without a clear plan, we easily give in to these things and lose focus on what's truly important. We become reactive instead of proactive, letting external factors dictate our actions instead of our own determination and goals. And the third consequence of a lack of planning is that we lose motivation. When we don't see tangible progress toward our goals, we start to doubt our own abilities. We wonder if our dreams can ever become a reality.
And this lack of motivation can lead us to give up on our goals entirely. But my friends, it doesn't have to be this way. It's never too late to change and start taking action. It's never too late to get closer to your goals. And it all starts with having a plan. So, how do we build an effective plan for our goals? The first step is to clarify what you want. You can't build a plan if you don't know where you're headed. Take the time to reflect on your goals and write them down. Be specific and make sure they align with your values and passions. The next step is to break down your goal into smaller, more manageable tasks. This will help you avoid feeling overwhelmed and make it easier to achieve. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. You can't start from the summit, you have to take it one step at a time. The third step is to set a timeline for each task. This will help you stay motivated and focused. However, you also need to be realistic with your timeline and allow for some flexibility. Remember, a plan is not set in stone.
And finally, the most important step is to take action. A plan is meaningless if you don't execute it. It's like having a map, but not moving. So, commit to yourself, take each step with persistence toward your goal. And don't hesitate to adjust your plan when needed. Life always has unpredictable factors, and sometimes we need to be flexible and adapt to new circumstances. Number 2. The fear of failure. Now I want to talk about a common barrier many of us face when setting goals, the fear of failure. Let me ask you this. Have you ever had a dream, a goal, a burning desire in your heart, but were held back by the fear of failure, too afraid to pursue it? Have you ever let the fear of failure keep you from exploring and reaching your full potential? If you've ever experienced this, you are not alone. The fear of failure is a common issue that we all have to face. But the important thing is that we must overcome it. You know, the fear of failure is not something we're born with. It's something we learn over time. As children, we were fearless. We tried new things without hesitation. We fell down and got back up. We dreamed big and believed that anything was possible. But as we grow up, we're gradually taught to avoid failure. We're taught to be safe, not to take risks, and only to do what's certain. We're surrounded by messages that failure is something to be ashamed of, something to be avoided at all costs. But I'm here to tell you that failure is not the enemy. In fact, failure is an essential part of success. It's through our failures that we learn, grow, and become better versions of ourselves. Think about it. Every successful person you admire has experienced failure. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper for lacking creativity and imagination. Oprah Winfrey was told she was unfit for television. Steve Jobs was fired from the very company he founded. But did they let those failures define them? No. They used those failures as stepping stones to success. So why are we so afraid of failure? Simply because we attach our self-worth to our achievements. We think that if we fail, we are failures. But I want to tell you that failure is just an event, not a person. Just because you fail at something doesn't mean you are a failure. It simply means you haven't succeeded yet. And the only way to succeed is to keep trying, to keep pushing past the fear of failure. I'm not saying that failure is easy to face. It can be painful, it can be demoralizing, and it can even make us feel ashamed. But it's in those moments of failure that our character is truly tested. It's in those moments that we have a choice to let failure defeat us or to turn it into a stepping stone to success. So how do we overcome the fear of failure when setting goals? The first step is to change our mindset. Instead of seeing failure as something to be avoided, see it as an opportunity to learn. Accept that failure is an integral part of the journey to success. As Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." The second step is to set realistic expectations. Many times, we set ourselves up for failure by setting unrealistic goals. This doesn't mean we shouldn't dream big,
But we also need to break down our goals into smaller, more achievable steps. That way, even if we don't reach the final goal, we can still celebrate the progress we've made. The third step is to maintain a growth mindset. Instead of focusing solely on the outcome, focus on the process. See every failure as a chance to learn and grow. As long as you're making progress, you're on the right track. The fourth step is to build a support network. We become like the people we spend the most time with. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, encourage you, and will help you get back up every time you fall. And remember, it's not the number of people in your network that matters, but the quality of those relationships. And the final and most important step is to take action. As they say, action cures fear. The more you procrastinate, the bigger the fear of failure becomes. So take that first step, no matter how small it is. And when you fail, because you will fail at some point, don't let it stop you. Keep moving forward. Number 1, lack of accountability. Now I want to address a topic that is incredibly important, but often overlooked: a lack of accountability when setting goals. We live in a world where everyone wants to succeed, but very few are willing to take responsibility for their own actions. We've become a society full of excuses, always blaming others and external factors for our failures. We have lost the power of accountability, and this is hindering our growth and potential.
Accountability is the foundation of success. It's the willingness to take ownership of our choices, our actions, and our results. It's the understanding that we are in control of our own lives and that our decisions shape our future. Without accountability, we're like ships without a rudder, drifting aimlessly on the sea of life. So why is accountability so important when setting goals? Let me tell you a story. Imagine two people, John and Sarah. Both have the same goal, to lose 20 pounds. John sets a goal to lose 20 pounds in 3 months and takes full responsibility for it. He creates a plan, tracks his progress, and makes adjustments when needed. On the other hand, Sarah also sets a goal to lose 20 pounds, but doesn't take responsibility for it. She makes excuses, skips workouts, and occasionally indulges in unhealthy food. After 3 months, John has successfully lost 20 pounds, while Sarah has only lost 5. What made the difference? Accountability. John took ownership of his actions and was committed to his goal, while Sarah let excuses and a lack of accountability get in her way. Now I want to ask you, who will feel more proud and accomplished? Who will have more self-confidence and motivation to set and achieve even bigger goals? It's clear that accountability is the key to success. So, how do we cultivate accountability in our lives? The first step is to be aware of our choices. We must stop blaming others and making excuses for our failures. It's time to look in the mirror and admit that our own decisions have brought us to where we are today. When we take responsibility for our actions, we can change our circumstances. The next step is to set clear and specific goals. Without a clear destination, we can't hold ourselves accountable for our progress. When setting goals, be specific about what you want to achieve. Create a plan and set a timeline for completion. This will give you a roadmap to follow and track your progress. But just setting goals and taking responsibility isn't enough. We also have to have the courage to hold ourselves accountable. It takes courage to admit when we've fallen short. It takes courage to take the blame and make changes if necessary. It's this courage that will drive us to grow and achieve our goals. Another important element of accountability is having a support system. We all need someone who can help us stay accountable and push us to be our best selves. It could be a friend, a mentor, or a coach. Having someone to share your goals and progress with will give you the motivation and encouragement to stay on track. However, I understand that accountability can feel scary. It means having to take responsibility for our failures and admitting when we've fallen short.
but I want to tell you that the rewards of accountability will always far outweigh the fear. When we take responsibility, we become the masters of our own destiny. We have the power to control our lives and create our own future. Accountability also helps build character and integrity. When we take ownership of our actions, we become people who are trustworthy and reliable. We become leaders, people who inspire and motivate others to take the keys to their own lives. But most importantly, accountability leads to success. When we hold ourselves accountable, we are unstoppable. We are no longer bound by excuses or external factors. We become focused and determined to achieve our goals, and nothing can stand in our way. So, my friends, as we continue on our journey of self-development, I urge you to cultivate accountability in your lives. Be aware of your choices. Set clear and specific goals. Have the courage to hold yourself accountable and surround yourself with a supportive network. Remember, accountability is the key to success, and we all have the power within us to unlock it. In the second part of this series, we'll dive deeper into self-development and how it ties into accountability. But for now, I want to end my talk with a quote from the great Zig Ziglar. Responsibility is the glue that binds commitment to the result. Let's all commit to being accountable for our goals and watch as we achieve success beyond our wildest dreams. Thank you. Part 3. The danger of comparison. In today's message, I want to share a topic that I believe is holding many of us back from reaching our full potential and personal growth. It's the dangerous habit of comparison. We live in a society where we're constantly surrounded by images and stories of people who seem to have it all. People who appear to be living amazing lives, while we feel stuck and inadequate. It's easy to fall into the trap of comparing ourselves to others and feeling like we're not good enough. But I'm here to tell you that comparison is the enemy of progress. It robs us of our joy, our motivation, and most importantly, the unique journey each of us is on in our own personal development. The truth is, we all have our own path, and comparing ourselves to others only distracts us from our own growth and potential. But the good news is, you are not alone in this battle. By listening to this message, you can change everything and learn to embrace your own journey, move forward, and grow. So let's explore why comparison is the enemy of progress and personal development. Let's start with reason number 5. Have you ever found yourself scrolling through social media, looking at other people's lives and feeling insecure? Have you ever compared your success, possessions, or relationships to others and felt like you were losing? If your answer is yes, then you are not alone. We have all fallen into the comparison trap at some point in our lives. And I want to tell you that it's a very easy trap to fall into, but a hard one to get out of. You see, comparison is a natural human tendency. We are wired to compare ourselves to others, to know where we stand in relation to them. And in today's society, with the rise of social media, this has become more prevalent than ever. We are constantly bombarded with images and stories of people who seem to have it all: the perfect body, the dream job, the ideal relationship. And it's easy to get caught up in an endless cycle of comparison where we constantly measure ourselves against others' standards and feel like we're not good enough. But here's what you need to know. Comparison is a game you can never win. It's a game we can never win because there will always be someone smarter, richer, more successful than us. And when we constantly compare ourselves to others, we are setting ourselves up for failure. We are putting ourselves in a position to feel insecure and unworthy. And this, my friends, is the biggest obstacle to personal development: self-doubt and a lack of self-confidence. When we compare ourselves to others, we are essentially saying that we are not good enough. We are saying that our own uniqueness, our individuality, is not good enough. But here's the truth. Each of us is a unique individual. We all have our own strengths, our own talents, and our own journey.
And when we compare ourselves to others, we are robbing ourselves of the opportunity to embrace our own uniqueness and reach our full potential. Think about it. If we all tried to be someone else, who would we be? We would just be copies, living in a boring world. It's our differences that make us special, that make us stand out. And it's when we embrace our own uniqueness that we can truly grow and thrive. You see, personal development is not about becoming someone else or trying to fit into a certain mold. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. It's about realizing your full potential and living a life that is authentic and true to who you are. And when we constantly compare ourselves to others, we are robbing ourselves of this opportunity. I know some of you might argue that comparison can be a good thing. It can motivate us to work harder and achieve more. And I agree, to some extent. Healthy competition can be a good thing, as long as it doesn't turn into comparison. But here's the thing. When we compare ourselves to others, we're not competing with them. We are competing with an idealized version of them. We are comparing ourselves to their highlight reels, not their whole story. And this is not a fair comparison. So what can we do to break free from the comparison trap and embrace our own uniqueness? The first step is to recognize when we are comparing ourselves to others. Awareness is key. Every time you feel insecure or envious of someone else's life, take a moment to ask yourself if you're comparing yourself to them. And if the answer is yes, then remind yourself that comparison is a game you can never win, and that it's not a fair comparison. The next step is to shift your focus from others to yourself. Instead of comparing yourself to others, let's focus on our own journey, on our own progress. Let's set goals for ourselves and work towards them without worrying about what others are doing. Let's celebrate our own successes and learn from our own failures. Because in the end, the only person we should be competing with is ourselves. And finally, let's embrace our own uniqueness. Let's celebrate our differences and realize that they are what make us special. Let's not try to fit into a certain mold. Instead, let's create our own path. Let's be proud of who we are and let our individuality shine.
Next up is reason number 4. I understand that some of you might be thinking, isn't comparison a natural human tendency? After all, we're constantly surrounded by people who seem to have it all. Whether it's wealth, success, relationships, or looks, we can't help but compare ourselves to them and feel inadequate or envious. But I'm here to tell you that this mindset is a trap we need to break free from if we want to achieve true growth and fulfillment in life. You see, comparison is the thief of joy. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we are focusing on what we lack instead of what we have achieved. We are measuring our self-worth based on other standards instead of our own unique journey. And this can lead to a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction and self-doubt. Furthermore, comparison can also lead to unhealthy competition. When we are constantly trying to one-up others, we lose sight of our own goals and values. We become obsessed with the idea of being better than others instead of becoming the best version of ourselves. And this can create a toxic environment where we are not only competing with others, but also with ourselves, always trying to achieve an unattainable perfection. But let me ask you a question. What is the purpose of competing with others? Is it to prove that we are better than them? Is it to gain validation and approval from society? Or is it to fulfill our own personal aspirations and passions? The truth is, comparison and competition do not bring us closer to our goals. In fact, they can distract us from our true purpose and hinder our own progress. I want you to imagine a world where we all focus on our own journeys instead of comparing ourselves to others. A world where we celebrate each other's successes instead of feeling envious or resentful. A world where we uplift and support each other instead of tearing each other down in the name of competition. That, my friends, is a world where true personal growth and fulfillment can thrive. So how do we break free from the trap of comparison and unhealthy competition?
The first step is to recognize that we are all unique individuals with our own strengths, weaknesses, and paths in life. We cannot compare our journey to others because each journey is a completely different path. We need to learn to appreciate and embrace our own journey, no matter how different it may be from others. The second step is to focus on our own progress and growth instead of comparing it to others. Instead of always trying to be better than others, let's strive to be the best version of ourselves. Let's set our own goals and work towards them without being influenced by what others are doing. The third step is to cultivate a mindset of abundance instead of scarcity. When we compare ourselves to others, we are operating from a place of lack, a belief that there is only a limited amount of success and happiness to go around. But the truth is, success and happiness are infinite, and there is enough for everyone. When we shift our mindset from scarcity to abundance, we can celebrate other successes without feeling threatened or inadequate. And finally, let's remember that true personal growth and fulfillment come from within. It's not about being better than others. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves. It's about discovering our own unique talents, passions, and purpose, and using them to make a positive impact in the world. Next, I want to address a major enemy we face on our journey of self-development: comparison. Comparison is the thief of joy and the enemy of progress. It's a dangerous trap that many of us fall into, sometimes without even realizing it. We live in a society where comparison has become the norm. We are constantly surrounded by images and messages that tell us we need to be better, do more, and have more to be successful and happy. In this endless race to keep up with others, we often lose sight of our own journey. But the truth is, comparison is just a distraction. It takes our focus away from our own growth and development and instead directs our attention to others. When we compare ourselves to others, we are saying that their journey is more important than ours. We are giving away our power and allowing others to dictate our path. This hinders our own progress. Each of us is on a unique path. Our experiences, strengths, and weaknesses are all different, and that is something to be proud of, not to compare. When we compare ourselves to others, we are not only robbing ourselves of our own potential, but we are also devaluing the world. Each person is born with unique gifts and talents, and it is our responsibility to use them to make a positive impact. But when we are too busy comparing ourselves to others, we cannot fully utilize those gifts.
Comparison also leads to an endless cycle of dissatisfaction. We compare ourselves to someone with more money, a better job, a nicer house, and feel inadequate. Then, when we achieve those things, we compare ourselves to someone with even more. It's a cycle with no end, leading only to dissatisfaction and lack. We are constantly chasing things that will never truly satisfy us because we are always comparing ourselves to others. But the important thing is that success is not a one-size-fits-all concept. What is successful for one person may be completely different for another, and that is perfectly okay. We need to stop comparing ourselves to others and start defining success on our own terms. What matters is not what society says about success, but what truly brings us joy and fulfillment. And that can only be discovered when we focus on our own journey, not someone else's. Comparison also hinders our growth and development because it often leads to self-doubt and a lack of self-confidence. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we start to doubt our own abilities and worth. We start to believe that we are not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. And these negative thoughts only hold us back and prevent us from reaching our full potential. We need to start believing in ourselves and our own journey. We need to understand that we are fully capable of achieving great things and that our journey is just as important as anyone else's. I'm not saying we should never seek inspiration or guidance from others.
It's very important to have mentors, guides, and role models who can inspire us to become the best versions of ourselves. However, we need to be careful not to fall into the trap of comparison. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, we should use their success as motivation to work harder and become the best version of ourselves. We need to learn from them, but not try to copy their journey. We need to stay true to ourselves and our own path. So the message I want to send you today is that comparison is the enemy of progress. It distracts us from our own journey and hinders our growth and development. We need to stop comparing ourselves to others and start focusing on our own journey. We need to define success on our own terms and believe in our own abilities. Each of us is on a unique path, and it is our responsibility to make that journey meaningful. Let's stop comparing and start embracing our own uniqueness, using our gifts to make a positive impact in the world. Next, I want to talk about the second reason. As I mentioned before, comparison is the enemy of progress. It's the thief of joy and a major obstacle to self-development. Today, I want to share with you why this is true and how we can overcome this destructive habit. First and foremost, comparison creates unrealistic expectations. When we compare ourselves to others, we are setting ourselves up for failure. We are comparing our difficult moments to others' shining successes. We see their success and assume it came easily, without realizing that they had to go through a lot of hard work and sacrifice to achieve it. We forget that every journey is different. Each of us has our own strengths, weaknesses, and unique circumstances. And when we compare ourselves to others, we are not only setting ourselves up for disappointment, but also ignoring our own journey and the progress we have made. Second, comparison robs us of our uniqueness. Each of us is a one-of-a-kind individual. We have our own talents, passions, and dreams. But when we constantly compare ourselves to others, we start to lose our true essence. We try to fit ourselves into someone else's mold, and in the process, we lose ourselves. We need to remember that our differences are what make us special. We should celebrate our own uniqueness and use it to our advantage instead of trying to be a copy of someone else. As Oscar Wilde once said, "Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken." Furthermore, comparison leads to self-doubt and a lack of self-confidence. When we compare ourselves to others, we are essentially telling ourselves that we are not good enough. We start to doubt our own abilities and question our self-worth. We become our own worst critic, constantly comparing and finding ourselves lacking. But I want to tell you something. You are absolutely good enough. You are capable of achieving great things, and you have the potential to become the best version of yourself. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on your own progress and growth. Celebrate your successes, no matter how small, and remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Don't let it steal your confidence and self-worth.
In addition, comparison breeds envy and resentment. When we compare ourselves to others, we often feel envious of their success and angry at our own perceived shortcomings. We start to see others as competitors and become obsessed with the idea of outdoing them. But the truth is, there is no competition. Each of us is on our own journey, and we should be happy for others' success instead of feeling envious or resentful. Instead of comparing, we should focus on our own growth and use others' success as inspiration. Finally, comparison prevents us from enjoying the present and the process of reaching our goals. When we are constantly comparing ourselves to others, we are either living in the past or worrying about the future instead of living in the present moment. We may be dwelling on past failures or worrying about future success.
Instead of enjoying the journey and the progress we're making, we become obsessed with the destination. But the journey is just as important as the destination. We need to learn to appreciate the process and the lessons we learn along the way. As the saying goes, comparison is the thief of joy, but gratitude is the key to happiness. Instead of comparing ourselves to others, let's focus on being grateful for what we have and what we have achieved. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we are really telling ourselves that we are not good enough, that we are not worthy of success and happiness. But the truth is, success and happiness are not a one-size-fits-all formula. What is successful for one person may not be the same for another. Each of us has our own journey and our own definition of success. So why do we constantly compare ourselves to others? Why do we let society dictate what our success and happiness should look like? The truth is, comparison is a never-ending cycle. There will always be someone smarter, richer, more successful, or more beautiful than us. And if we continue to compare ourselves to others, we will always feel inadequate and never truly happy or fulfilled. So how do we break free from this cycle? The first step is to recognize that comparison is a destructive habit. It does not serve our personal development journey in any way. Instead of helping us move forward, comparison only holds us back and prevents us from reaching our full potential. Next, we need to shift our focus from seeking external validation to internal validation. We often seek approval from others, whether it's through likes on social media or praise from friends and colleagues. But true validation starts from within. We need to learn to appreciate and celebrate our own achievements, no matter how small they may be. We also need to understand that everyone has their own journey. We are all on our own unique path, and there is no right or wrong way to achieve our goals. When we compare ourselves to others, we are actually comparing our chapter 1 to their chapter 10. We don't know the struggles and challenges they went through to get where they are, and so comparing our journey to theirs is not fair. Another important factor is that comparison often leads to imposter syndrome. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, we start to doubt our own abilities and feel like we are not worthy of our own success and happiness. We start to believe that we are not as talented or capable as others. This can hold us back from taking risks and pursuing our dreams. But I want to tell you that you are not an imposter. You are unique, talented, and capable in your own way. Embrace your own uniqueness and let go of the need to compare yourself to others. Furthermore, comparison also robs us of our joy and gratitude. When we are always focused on what we lack or what we haven't achieved, we fail to appreciate the blessings and successes in our own lives. We need to learn to be grateful for what we have and to celebrate our own journey, instead of constantly looking at what others have and feeling envious. And finally, my friends, comparison is truly the enemy of progress and personal development. It makes us doubt ourselves, devalue ourselves, and creates imposter syndrome. It robs us of our joy and gratitude and prevents us from reaching our full potential. So we need to actively break this destructive habit and focus on our own journey. Let's be proud of our own uniqueness, learn to appreciate and validate ourselves, and most importantly, let's remember that success and happiness are not a competition. Each of us has our own journey, and we all deserve success and happiness in our own way.
Part 4. 5 Reasons You're Not Attracting Money. Thank you. Today, I want to share an important message. In today's world, we are constantly bombarded with advice on how to attract money and achieve financial success. We are encouraged to work harder, strive for more, and manifest our desires. However, despite our best efforts, many of us still struggle to achieve the prosperity we desire. If this resonates with you, you are not alone. I have met countless people who have put in a lot of effort but still can't seem to attract the money they dream of. That's why in today's message, I'm going to share with you the 5 reasons why you might still not be attracting money despite all your hard work. These are common mistakes that many of us easily fall into, and by understanding them, you can change your situation and start attracting the wealth and prosperity you deserve. If you're ready to dive deep into the reasons for your financial struggles and how to overcome them, then stay tuned because this message is for you. Let's begin. Number 5. Negative thinking about money. Many of us have been taught that money is hard to come by. We've learned that money is the root of all evil, and that desiring more of it only makes us greedy and selfish. But I want to tell you, this is completely untrue. Money is not the problem. The problem lies in how we think about it. We live in a world where money is a necessity. It allows us to live comfortably, provide for our families, and pursue our passions and dreams. However, many of us still struggle to attract money into our lives, despite working hard and relentlessly. So what's the reason behind this? It all starts with how we think. Our thoughts and beliefs are incredibly powerful. They shape our reality and determine our actions. If we have a negative mindset about money, we will continue to attract lack and poverty into our lives. We will constantly face financial difficulties, unexpected expenses, and feel like we can never get ahead. But my friends, it doesn't have to be this way. We have the power to change our thinking and attract prosperity and abundance into our lives. It all starts with recognizing and acknowledging our negative thoughts and beliefs about money. How many times have you caught yourself saying things like, "I can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich people are just lucky"? These are all negative beliefs that we've been taught since childhood, and they're what's holding us back from achieving financial success. We need to start changing our thinking and replacing these negative thoughts with positive ones. Instead of saying, "I can't afford this," say, "How can I afford this?" Instead of saying, "Money doesn't grow on trees," say, "Money is abundant and readily available to me." And instead of saying, "Rich people are just lucky," say, "I am capable of creating my own luck and attracting wealth into my life." You see, my friends, it all starts with our thoughts. We need to believe that we are worthy and deserving of financial success. We need to let go of any guilt or shame associated with wanting more money. We need to understand that having more money doesn't make us greedy or selfish. On the contrary, it allows us to do more good in the world. However, just changing our thoughts is not enough. We also need to take action. We need to be proactive in pursuing our financial success. This means setting clear and specific goals, creating a plan, and taking consistent action to achieve those goals. We also need to surround ourselves with people who have a positive mindset about money. As the saying goes, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If we surround ourselves with people who have negative thoughts about money, we will continue to be influenced by their beliefs and thoughts. But if we surround ourselves with people who have a positive mindset about money, we will be inspired and motivated to achieve financial success. My dear friends, I want you to understand that you are fully capable of attracting money into your life. It all starts with your mindset. Believe that you are capable of achieving financial success. Believe that money is abundant and always available to you. Believe that you are worthy and deserving of prosperity. And most importantly, take action to achieve your goals. Number 4. Lack of clarity and focus. Now let's talk about the 4th reason, a lack of clarity and focus when it comes to attracting money. We live in a society that is obsessed with wealth and success. We are constantly bombarded with images of luxury and extravagance, and it's no wonder that we all crave a piece of that pie. We work hard, we strive, we try everything, but still we can't seem to attract the money we desire.
So, what's the problem? Why do some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle endlessly? The answer is simple: a lack of clarity and focus. You see, my friends, money is not just about having a lot of numbers in your bank account. It's about having a clear understanding of what you want and where you're going. Without this clarity, it's like you're sailing a ship without a compass. You might go around in circles, or worse, sink. So, I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what do you really want when it comes to money? Is it financial stability? The ability to travel the world? Or maybe it's the freedom to pursue your passions? Whatever it is, it's important that you have a clear and specific goal in mind. Without a goal, how can you expect to achieve it? But having clarity is only the first step. The next and equally important step is focus. You can have the clearest goal in mind, but if you're not focused on it, it will remain just a distant dream. Imagine this. Let's say you're driving and your goal is to reach a specific destination. You have the address, you know the route. But if you keep getting distracted by every billboard and sign along the way, you'll never reach your destination. You have to stay focused on the road ahead. And it's the same with your financial goals. I know some of you might be thinking, but Jim, I am focused on my goals. I work hard every day, but I still can't seem to attract the money I want. And to that, I want to ask you, are you really focused? You see, my friends, focus is not just about working hard. It's about working smart. It's about understanding the difference between being busy and being productive. Let me give you an example. Let's say your goal is to save $10,000 in a year. You work a 9-to-5 job, and then you spend a few hours on a side hustle. You're working hard, but are you really focused on your goal? What if I told you that by simply cutting down on unnecessary expenses, you could save an extra $500 a month? That's $6,000 in a year, just by being more mindful of your spending. That's the power of focus. It helps you see the bigger picture and make the necessary changes to achieve your goals. But it's not just about cutting down on expenses. It's also about investing your time and energy wisely. Are you spending hours scrolling through social media or binge watching a TV series? Or are you using that time to learn a new skill or work on your side hustle? Remember, time is our most precious asset, and it's our responsibility to use it wisely. Next, I want to talk about a common misconception when it comes to attracting money: the belief that it's all about external factors. Many of us believe that we have to wait for the right opportunity to come along or for luck to strike. But the truth is, we have the power to create our own opportunities and make our own luck. You see, my friends, the universe is always working in our favor, but it can only do so much. It's up to us to take action and make things happen. So, if you want to attract money, you have to take control of your life and your actions. You have to be proactive, not reactive. You have to be the driver of your life, not just a passenger. But I understand that this is not always easy. We all face challenges and setbacks on our journey to success. But remember, it's not about how many times you fall, but how many times you get back up. So if you're struggling to attract money, don't give up. Take a step back, reassess your goals, and refocus your efforts. Trust me, the universe will reward your persistence and hard work. Number 3, lack of action. Next, we come to the third reason. One of the main reasons why many people struggle to attract money is due to a lack of action. It's not enough to just wish for wealth and prosperity. You need to take action to achieve your goals and dreams. As the famous saying goes, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work.
It's not enough to just hope for money to come into your life. You have to actively seek it and pursue it. But why do so many people fail to take action? The reason lies in fear. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of the unknown. We are all familiar with these fears, and they can be paralyzing. These fears can prevent us from moving forward and taking the necessary steps to achieve our goals and dreams. But the important thing is that fear is a natural part of life. It's not something to be avoided, but something to be faced and overcome.
As the famous motivational speaker and author Les Brown once said, if you take responsibility for yourself, you will develop a hunger to accomplish your dreams. I urge you to take responsibility for your own life and dreams. Don't let fear hold you back. Instead, use it as a fuel to propel you closer to your goals. Take action, even if it's just small steps at first. Every step you take will bring you closer to your dreams. And remember, it's better to try and fail than to not try at all. However, taking action is not enough. You need to have a clear and specific goal in mind. Many people struggle to attract money because they only have a vague idea of what they want. They say, I want to be rich, or I want to have financial freedom. These are admirable goals, but they are not specific enough. How much money do you want? And what time frame do you want to achieve it? What will you do with the money once you have it? These are the questions you must answer to have a clear and specific goal. Once you have a clear goal in mind, you also need to have a plan to achieve it. This is where many people fail. They have a goal, but they don't know how to get there. That's why personal development is a crucial element. You must constantly work on yourself and develop the necessary skills and mindset to achieve your goals. As the famous entrepreneur and author Jim Rohn once said, success is not something you pursue. It's something you attract by the person you become. You must become the person who is capable of attracting success and wealth into your life. This means you must continuously learn, grow, and improve yourself. As the saying goes, if you want to have more, you have to become more. This is why personal development is so important on the journey to achieving success and prosperity. Unfortunately, many people neglect this aspect of their lives. They think that just by working hard, money will come. But the truth is, success is not just about working hard. It's also about working smart and continuously improving yourself. As the inventor and businessman Thomas Edison once said, opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. So, I urge you not only to take action, but also to work on yourself. Read books, attend seminars, and surround yourself with successful and like-minded people. As Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose your circle wisely. Make sure they are pushing you closer to your goals instead of pulling you back. In addition to taking action and continuously developing yourself, you also need to have a positive mindset. This is another crucial element in personal development. Your thoughts and beliefs create your reality. If you constantly think and believe that you are not capable of attracting money, then that will become your reality. But if you believe that you are deserving and capable of attracting wealth and prosperity, then that will also be your reality. As one of the great motivational speakers, Zig Ziglar, once said, your attitude, not your aptitude, will determine your altitude. Your attitude and mindset are the determining factors of your success in life. So I urge you to adopt a positive mindset and believe in yourself and your abilities. Number 2, resistance to change. Now we come to the second reason. Did you know that the biggest obstacle in attracting money is not external circumstances or a lack of opportunities, but our own resistance to change? We're creatures of habit, and sometimes we resist change even when it's for our own good. We feel comfortable in our routines and ways of thinking, and are afraid to step out of our comfort zone. But I want to tell you that change is necessary for growth. If we want to attract money and achieve financial success, we must be willing to change our mindset and habits. We must be open to new ideas and new ways of thinking.
As Tony Robbins, one of the great motivational speakers, said, if you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always gotten. If we want different results, we must be willing to do things differently. So how do we resist change, and how does it hinder our ability to attract money? Let's explore a few examples. First, there's fear. Fear is a powerful emotion that can hold us back from achieving our dreams. We fear failure, we fear rejection, we fear the unknown. And when it comes to money, fear can manifest in many ways. We fear taking risks. We fear investing. We fear asking for a raise or negotiating a higher salary. But I want to tell you that fear is just an illusion. It's a product of our minds, and it only has power if we allow it to. We must learn to face our fears and overcome them if we want to attract money and achieve our financial goals.
Next, there are limiting beliefs. These are the beliefs we have about ourselves and our abilities, often formed in childhood or through past experiences. We might believe that we are not smart enough, not talented enough, or not deserving enough to attract money. But the truth is, these beliefs are holding us back from our true potential. We need to challenge these limiting beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. As Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. Another way we resist change is through our habits. Our daily habits and routines have a major impact on our lives, including our financial success. If we have unhelpful habits like overspending, procrastinating, or lacking discipline, it will be very difficult to attract money. We need to develop new habits that align with our financial goals and support our personal growth. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Finally, we have our comfort zone. As I mentioned earlier, we feel comfortable with our routines and ways of thinking and are afraid to step out of our comfort zone. But I want to tell you that nothing great ever comes from staying in your comfort zone. We must be willing to take risks and try new things if we want to attract money and achieve financial success. As the saying goes, a ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Maybe you're thinking, okay, Jim, I understand that my resistance to change is holding me back, but how can I overcome this? My dear friends, the first step is awareness. We must become aware of the thoughts, beliefs, and habits that are hindering our ability to attract money. Once we are aware, we can take action and make the necessary changes. A powerful tool to help us overcome resistance to change is personal development. Personal development is the process of improving ourselves through various techniques and strategies. It helps us become more self-aware, develop new skills, and change our mindset. By investing in personal development, we can break free from our limiting beliefs, build new habits, and step out of our comfort zone. This is a crucial element in attracting money and achieving success in all areas of life. So, I urge you to take action today. Become aware of your own resistance and commit to overcoming it. Invest in your personal development and make it a priority in your life. And remember, change may be uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth and success. Number 1, lack of self-worth. Now we come to the number 1 reason. I call this the root cause. Even though you've put in a lot of effort, you still can't seem to attract money into your life. And today, I want to address the root cause of this problem, a lack of self-worth. You know, we live in a world where money is often seen as the measure of success and happiness. We are constantly bombarded with messages that we need to have more, be more, and do more to feel truly fulfilled. And in this quest for external validation, we often forget to look within ourselves and recognize our own worth. But I want to tell you this. Your self-worth is not determined by the amount of money in your bank account. It's not measured by the material possessions you own or the title you hold. Your self-worth is innate. It's a part of who you are, and it doesn't depend on external factors. So, why do so many of us struggle to attract money into our lives? The answer lies in our beliefs and our mindset. Many of us have been taught that we are not good enough, not deserving of prosperity and success.
We carry these limiting beliefs within us, and they manifest in our actions and decisions, ultimately hindering our ability to attract money. But here's the truth. You are worthy of all the prosperity and success you desire. You have unique talents, skills, and experiences that make you valuable and deserving of wealth. But to attract money, you must first believe in your own worth. So how do we cultivate a belief in our self-worth? It starts with changing our mindset and adopting a new perspective. Instead of focusing on what we lack, we need to shift our attention to what we can contribute. Each of us has unique value to offer the world, and it's up to us to recognize and appreciate our own strengths. Next, we need to let go of comparison. It's human nature to compare ourselves to others, but this only leads to feelings of inadequacy and self-doubt. Remember, your journey is unique, and comparing it to someone else's journey only sets you back. Instead, focus on your own progress and celebrate your own achievements.
Furthermore, we need to learn to value ourselves and our time. Many of us have a tendency to say yes to everything, putting others before ourselves and undervaluing our own worth. But the truth is, our time and energy are precious assets. We must learn to say no to things that don't align with our goals and priorities, and set boundaries to protect our mental, emotional, and physical well-being. However, perhaps most importantly, we must learn to love and accept ourselves unconditionally. This means accepting our flaws and imperfections, and recognizing that they are what make us unique and special. It also means forgiving ourselves for past mistakes and letting go of self-judgment. When we truly love and accept ourselves, we open ourselves up to receiving prosperity and success. I understand that changing our mindset and beliefs is not an easy task. It requires time, effort, and patience. But I can assure you that the rewards are well worth it. When you start to believe in your own worth, you will feel a shift in your energy and actions. You will start to attract opportunities and prosperity into your life, and you will have the confidence to seize them. So, my dear friends, I urge you to let go of any beliefs that are holding you back from attracting money into your life. Believe in your own worth, and the universe will respond in kind. Remember, you are capable, you are deserving, and you are enough. With this newfound belief in yourself, you will be ready to embark on a journey of self-development, a journey we will explore in the next part of this speech. But for now, I want to leave you with this. Self-worth is the foundation of success. Nurture it, believe in it, and watch how your life will change. If you found this message helpful, don't forget to hit like. Share this video with your friends and family to spread these positive values. Leave your opinions in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe to the Step Forward channel so you don't miss the next videos that will help you grow and achieve success.